welcome back to No Pants Profits. My name is Richard, and today I'm in College Park, Texas, which is kind of like halfway between Dallas and Houston, a little closer to Houston than Dallas. And we are going to be going to another presidential library today. We went the other day to the George H.W. Bush, which is the younger Bush's presidential library. And today we're going to go to the George Bush Presidential Library, the older Bush. And yes, he's dead. He's buried here at the Presidential Library. So yes, you will be seeing the grave of an ex-president. But I want to point out something kind of interesting. We're still in the month of mourning for Jimmy Carter, I think. The flag should be at half-mast, but these flags are all at full mast, which is strange. I don't know. Maybe I've seen a lot of flags at half-mast, but we are going to go ahead on the campus of the Texas A&M University in College Park, Texas, and check out the George Bush Library and Museum. Oh, I'm getting a fun echo there. It's part of the National Archives, the United States presidency. We'll talk about the logistics of this. I want to get in the door real quick because we've only got an hour and 19 minutes to explore what's going on here. Yep, from 9:30 a.m. until 5 p.m. It is currently 3:41 p.m. It is part of the National Archives. So you see National Archives, and you'll see the presidential seal right there. We do have to go through Washington, D.C. style security to get in. So George W. Bush Presidential Library, 41. I'm going to go through that security, get my ticket, and catch you on the side. Alrighty then. So we got our ticket here. It was only $12. So not bad at all, and free parking. Yes, free parking. So the George Bush Library, actually, you know what's funny? I think the ticket here was as much as the parking was yesterday. Think about that for a second. So we're in the rotunda. Unlike the George Bush exhibit yesterday, his son's, this is not a very technical rotunda. Yesterday it was very technical, meaning it was all screens and stuff like that. This is not technical at all. It's a very basic presidential rotunda. I really don't know what to expect here. They do have a film showing every 30 minutes. The last showing is at 4, so we could in theory watch that, but probably won't. Acrylic on canvas, things like that. See, they do have a film that starts every,
Said that the toughest decision a president makes is when he has to send somebody else's kid into battle. That one is a moment I'll never forget in my presidency, because this huge feeling of relief and counting my blessings that this ugly mission was being accomplished with a minimum loss of life.
Even with an 89% approval rating at the end of the war, and the successes of the previous 4 years. Faced with a charismatic opponent and a strong third-party candidate, there would be no second term for President George Bush.
He's a one-termer.
Popularity means nothing. I saw a great man go from popular to
there's the guy right yesterday
in a race that was incredibly painful. And yet,
well, let's go ahead.
He was still the same man.
We don't have time to watch the movie today. I don't want to get pressed on stuff like the day before. Let's see if this goes out right into the exhibit. Let's see. I don't know if that's the Oval Office or what we've got right here. Where does the exit? No. Where do we start? Oh. I don't know if this is the beginning or the end. Is this the beginning or the end? This is the beginning? Yeah. Where do you start? Right here. Oh.
You can keep that. Would you like them out?
Sure, I'll take them out.
Okay. Here's where you came in, the rotunda.
The rotunda. There's the theater and follow the arrows. Okay, so that's the beginning. Perfect. Yeah. Thank you. All right. A special exhibit. So we are on the Texas A&M University campus. And we've got the rotunda. We got the theater. And now we've got the beginnings. Ooh, they have something cool here. What do they have cool here? Well, it looks like they've got an armored car, one of the beasts, one of the older beasts. So this seems to be the highlight of what they have here as a beast. I've I've seen that some of them have Marine One and Air Force One and everything like that, but this one has one of the beasts. These are the specific cars that were made kind of after Kennedy that would protect the president fully. Well, that's pretty cool. So this seems to be the beginning of the Bush Presidential Museum. So we're going to follow the path through. There's a special exhibit over there we will get to if we have time. But let's go to the Bush Presidential Museum. It looks like it's going to start out very similar to his sons. Now, something I learned yesterday is that this guy was in the CIA and everything like that. This Bush, the older Bush. So we might learn about some of those things here compared to oh, wow. That's cool if real. There's like a giant plane hanging from the ceiling. Not Air Force One, but a big-ass plane. So family traditions, the Bush family. I think this is the same company that made the baked beans. That's all I'm saying. Could be wrong. George Bush's ancestors were from England, Massachusetts. Nancy Prescott, 5 children. Prescott Jr., George, Nancy. They were extremely close-knit and happy family. President Bush with trademark pipe in 1946 photo. That does not look like the George Bush that anybody really knows. No, that one kind of looks like him. Wow. That's crazy how, I guess I didn't grow up with Bush because I was born in the late 80s, but other Bush I have a picture of, what he looked like in my brain. I just don't have a picture of what this Bush looked like in my brain. The Pierce family. Barbara Bush, I guess, was a member of the Pierce family. So remember, these are made by the presidents when they retire or their families if they're killed or something like that. They are paid for with private donations and then run by the National Archives. They're given over to the government to run. So they're generally reasonably priced and everything like that and well protected and well preserved. It's actually, again, part of the National Archives. But that cool thing I saw is a giant friggin' plane. So, the war I think we're talking about here is with the Soviets. Again, I'm not really a history buff. Oh, okay, hold on. We're talking about the war not when he was president, but the war that he fought in. Cool. I was like, huh? JC. Crumb. Dear Billy. It's an ejector seat. USS. Alright. I wonder if this is real. This Avenger is a gift. Wow. Yeah. Fill them out of the spot. Wow. The plane was restored in Hawkins, Texas. It was suspended in the museum courtesy of the National Museum of Aviation in Pensacola, Florida. So, that's cool. That is an actual airplane. Which is kind of cool. So what we're looking at is George Bush's military service, senior. He looks a lot like Junior there, I'm not going to lie. Genetically, he should. But senior military naval cadet George Bush, who wrote Looking Forward after Pearl Harbor, wasn't any doubt in the branch of service that I joined. Okay, they're saying after Pearl Harbor. That is insane, that plane. It's pretty cool. Let's continue on. Again, the reason I don't wear my hat here is because there's a lot of military stuff here, and I'm not a Stolen Valor fan. I just wear a stupid captain's hat. President Roosevelt. Oh, this is like from the American Adventure. I don't think it's real. It is real, but it's not actually working anymore. Touch to begin. I like all these interactive things, maybe. Scrapbook. They seem to have a whole thing. Did you know George Bush flew for the first time on June 9th, 1943? And there's all these little dog things in the bottom. These are kind of all over. They do have a lot of memorabilia George Bush catapults off to San Jacinto, headed for, wow, his actual gun. Well, that's pretty cool. His actual gun from the war. The fact that they have all this, again, just like George Bush Jr., we saw his library, that's what it was set up.
Bush himself landed.
These are the bombers
pulled himself onto a life raft.
that were on there.
Drifted for 2 hours.
I remember being scared, and I remember wondering what happened to the crewmen that were with me. I knew the fleet was going south, so I knew if I wasn't rescued, I would be captured.
Finally, he was picked up by
There's a button.
a patrolling American submarine. Probably the whole event was reported by subsequent.
All right. And this is when they get married.
For his brief
George and Laura. A short but sweet. Not Laura, sorry. Sorry, I'm getting the Bushes confused. George and Barbara. The love-struck newlyweds with their honeymoon in Sea Island, Georgia. This is a lot less technical of a museum than his son's because of just when it was made. We have a waltzer. We actually turn something on. No. Lieutenant George Bush was honored for his actions with the Distinguished Flying Cross. In addition, he was also awarded the Navy Air Medal and 2 stars. Well, there you go. From fly boy to gold boy. Took the war in the Navy to show me how advantageous education can be. He was a GI student. I would assume that's other George or Jeb or one of them. When George Bush became president, he kept a well-worn Yale first baseman's mitt oiled and ready in his desk drawer in the Oval Office. His well-worn. So that's the actual mitt. I was just looking at the phrasing. But it does look like we have no, that's just a Studebaker of the time. It is not his Studebaker. Or anything like that. It's a Studebaker of the time. And again, we've got some more kind of unique. I think these are at kids level. It's kind of unique to teach kids about these things. So, as you know, George Bush's red Studebaker cost $1,500, which would be the same as $17,600 in 2020. And we go, Duke, there's a dog. Yeah, I don't think this is George's Studebaker, but it's similar to George's Studebaker. Again, you can spend hours going through them. Well, that's pretty cool. All right. That's where they're watching the different kids grow up. So this is like many families, the Bushes kept a yardstick to record their child's heights. Oh, there's Jeb Bush right there. Let's see, I don't see George. Marty. Seems like they had a lot of kids. That's what it seems like. That's where I'm at. Again, you're going to see in these presidential libraries that they are very positive. Like in his son's library, I saw nothing that said mission accomplished or talked about Dick Cheney shooting someone in the face. Just saying, oh, it was Bush Quayle, right? Isn't that it? Bush, and I was wondering, I was like, who was Bush's VP? So, yeah, there you got all the Bushes. That's George. Jeb's sniffing some glue over here somewhere. That's Jeb for sure. He looks a little derpy. Sorry, Jeb. You were a governor. I can say that shit. And he eventually went to Congress. Winning on November 8th, 1966, George easily finished his opponent to become the first Republican ever elected from the new 7th District. Tirelessly campaign effort paid off. Looks like he was on the ethics committee. And then was part of the UN. Here. So he was Ambassador Bush. Yeah. So he went to be Ambassador George Bush. See, he looks a lot like his son there. Every day I go to work, I love the exhilarating feeling that comes from having to challenge for the working for peace. The Cold War of the United Nations. Ooh, select a graphic. Let's be the U.S. Should be an interactive one. Okay. Main menu. Russia. USSR. Angry Men. Yeah, I think there's actually pieces of the Berlin Wall here and stuff like that, because I think he was he's a Mr. Gorbachev tear down that wall guy. I'm sorry. I'm not super presidentially familiar. Let's see. Challenge of the unknown. Beijing was a challenge. Of course it was. Nixon summoned me to Camp David in November to discuss the future. I believe politics to be a noble calling.
But I guess that's an old-fashioned view. These have been a tough 18 months.
Interesting.
I feel battered and disillusioned.
But again, they've got more of these things for kids. You know. George continued his tradition of hosting barbecues when in China, often inviting prominent leaders in Chinese government to join. It's his Chinese barbecue. There's probably a dog down here. Of course there is. We've got clues. Clues about what's going on. A second honeymoon. And this is where George Bush made the CIA up, I think. Oh, it's this job and the UN. Oh, sorry. So first they had to clear the need for intelligence capability. Second to none. I don't think he was the George Bush. He was an ardent supporter. Sophisticated high-tech systems in place when he became the head of the CIA. That's what he was. He was the head of the CIA, helped push through programs that deployed ground stations, electronic listening posts. Yeah. Intelligence point of merit, George Bush. So yeah, this is he's got a lot more of a government background than his son did. In that way. Many fascinating assignments in public and private life. We've got drawers that I think we can open. And you can dig a little bit deeper into his time in the CIA. Oh. Oh, we're not a vice president yet. That's the problem. He didn't even become president yet. I'm forgetting these things. So everything here, he went from Senate, sorry. I'm forgetting these things in her timeline. He went from Congress to the UN to helping out in China to leading the CIA. And we come around this way. And then all of a sudden, he is, what's his name? Reagan's vice president? I was suddenly vice president-elect of the United States, yeah. So it was Reagan Bush. I didn't know that Reagan was the vice president. Again, I was born in 87, so that's why these things don't, they don't quite ring with me either. Before I was born. Reagan Bush, the vice president. Mrs. Bush. The flag of the Vice President of the United States was flown on board Columbia. Wow. Reagan wounded. So Bush was kind of the acting president for a while after 2-hour surgery. See all the miles he traveled. But this is all as vice president. He led a task force narcotics task force. Kamala tried to do that too. That was successful. And then here is, so now he's becoming president. Kind of a weird, that's the vice president wall. The ultimate prize. That was over. Want to decide the victory? Okay, my first day as president-elect by going to church. He looks just like Lil W. Oh, wow. This is Michael Dukakis. And this is the actual podium that he debated on. General election debate podium used by President George Bush in 1988 until 1992. Donated by the Committee on Presidential Debates. So that's the actual podium that Bush used. That's funny. That's a straw poll. The straw you choose as a drink is your choice. That's funny. That is funny. That is funny. It's a straw poll. But yeah, this is when he ran with Quayle. Yeah, that's where Dan Quayle comes from. And that's kind of cool. So you can actually see in the rooms of the White House. Like, this is in a time before 360 was really a thing, when this museum was built. There's literally, there's not VR headsets or anything. There's buttons to push. But here's the inauguration night. Again, these are interesting things to see. Because elsewise you wouldn't see it. The gifts of the Presidential Inauguration Committee. And then there is Barbara's inaugural gown. So you see the picture. And then you see the gown. That's how they actually kind of keep these things historically. What we're doing is you can just kind of zoom around, see what's going down in the days before VR got big. Again, this is a slightly older museum. Yeah. Instead of putting on a VR headset or something like that, you just press those buttons and you can move around. Ooh. It looks like we have another fake Oval Office we could sit in. Now, no, that's nice. That's the fake Oval Office that they have at his son's museum. But we got a Resolute desk. Well, no, it's a Resolute desk or not. We got the phone. We've got, again, that's a weird thing. This clock. Gotta be some weird history to it. Because that was on his son's desk as well. This gyroscopically stabilized clock. Much older phone because in the time frame, it's the 80s. Classified. CIA. George Bush Library. Ooh. Cool. Cool. That's an ashtray. But yeah, so you got the... I don't think this is actually the Resolute desk. I really don't think it is. Again, more of a... Frederick Remington Bronco Buster is known for depicting the American West. And yes, there's another dog down there. Oh. Let's take a look over here. This is actually... It's a place in the White House that I've actually been to before, so I can metric it. It's the press briefing room. I did a White House tour years and years ago. A very small model of the press briefing room as it exists when I saw it. But again, this might have been the press briefing room back in the day.
Will is what we need. Make the hard choices. Looking at what we have.
So the days before computers or things like that. It might have been the whole press briefing room, to be honest with you. Now it's massive. And you got the state dinners that they would host right there. Entertain more than 40,000 people annually. That was interesting, all the Putin invites. The other one, this is with President Bush, Denmark. There was a lot of Putin menus in the Bush Jr. area. Please be advised that the building, including the museum store, closes at 5 p.m. Thank you. Means we have another 50 minutes, less than 50 minutes to make it through. That's what we can see. But here's the Oval Office. Right there. Well, somewhat Oval Office. I like the full Oval Office in his son's museum. Much different, but there's some things that this one is slightly well better known for. Especially Camp David, which we'll go to in a minute. Camp David's not really ever seen what goes on there. So they actually built a Camp David. Here's the cool part. These are some gifts. Now, understanding every one of these museums, there's giant vaults below that store the entire history of that president's time in office. They just take a small sampling and put them on display. So gifts from the United States of America, President Bush, Soviet ambassador of the United States, exchange gifts. You got Laura Bush and Princess Diana, not Laura, sorry, Barbara, I'm getting confused. Barbara Bush and Princess Diana. You've got President and Mrs. Bush, I don't know who that guy is. Father Casali. Fly fishing lures on a better box. 9 patch on point. So these are from American companies. So that's Tiffany & Co. There's nothing that says the president can't take gifts. People in Congress and stuff can't, but the president can take whatever the hell they want. They're kind of above the law, as you're learning in February of 2025. Wood show. Wooden bowl. And we're looking at different things. Porcelain vase. Presented by Boris Yeltsin, wife of the President of the Russian Federation. President of the Republic of Haiti. President of the Maldives. Nicaragua. Britain, Northern Ireland. Japan, French. These look to be African countries. So they get all these gifts and then they display a section of them here. Kingdom of Bhutan. Egypt. Replica Saudi Arabia. Made of 24 karat gold. Automatic 9mm pistol. Czech and Slovak Federal Republic did that pistol. Mexico. Jalisco, Mexico. So you can look at all these different gifts of state. There's a hat, probably from Mexico. Little sombrero. President of Mexico. For the president's visit. So that's the sombrero he got. And then you've got a little bit about the First Lady. There's a whole section on the First Lady here. I think it's a lot bigger than Laura's section.
I attribute this to the unbridled fear of the Ganny lecture and the habit-forming effects of better behavior.
And you can see the First Lady's calendar. Just a glimpse at her calendar. Well, actually, no, that's her whole calendar. Yeah, I forgot this is an archive. You can literally look 1990 January, February, March, April. Yeah, that's literally. Now the president's calendar is probably on schedule somewhere too, but highly redacted. But that's really cool that you can literally see the First Lady's entire calendar. January, February, so 89 and 83 only had January. 89 and 83 only had January. Uh-oh. Special jab.
Strive to be genuine and authentic by the
Special jab.
For authentic plastic pearls.
Annie Leibovitz. Photo of her. Here's the outfits she wore. 1990. Completing their 1990 census forms. The Barbara Bush Foundation for Family Literacy. Oh wow. This is like a whole Barbara Bush family literacy wing back here. Yeah. There's an entire wing back here. Chariots of Fire theme song. And I think you can go in this little White House if you're a kid. I'm not going in the White House, but there's not much in there. Oh, there's. Okay, let's do it. If only to get away from the copywritten Chariots of Fire music. Oh, bad idea. Bad idea. I just want to get away from Chariots of Fire. Mrs. Bush's story time. Okay. We survived. I think we survived. Let's see Miss Bush's story time. We're all the way down here. Select a book. Go ahead, Bush. Read me a damn story.
I'm delighted to be here today to tell you and all our listening friends a story which takes place after World War II. It's the story of a little girl named Anna and how she and her mother find a way to get her a new coat. It's from the book A New Coat for Anna.
A new coat for Anna.
When World War II ended, there were a lot of shortages.
Microphones.
in stores,
Not fun.
shortages of
Winter coats, okay.
Here is how
It's a story about a new coat for a girl named Anna. Why did I come back in this child's home? Misinterpret that how you want. Why did I come back in this child's home? Alright. Let's go. Let's get out of this hole. As long as Chariots of Fire is not playing anymore, which that has stopped, we can crawl out of the hole. Went into the hole to avoid a copyright claim. The things I do to make money on YouTube. Whew. 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 Yeah, so there's this sign was at the grave of Barbara Bush. This sign was at the gravesite of Barbara Bush. Many flowers were left beside it. Barbara Bush doll in her inaugural gown. Cat in the Hat. Paper flower wreath. Socks. All those things. Interesting. So this is like the Barbara Bush wing here. And then we've got Camp David. Now, Camp David is the place right outside of Washington where presidents can kind of go, and this is a famicile, I would assume, of the Oval Office at Camp David. Maybe it's not a famicile. Maybe it's real. He's got a computer. Remember when computers looked like that and didn't fit in your pocket? Yeah. All right. Camp David. Have to begin. I'll sit for a minute. Pictures of Camp David. So yeah, that's a good idea. I've never seen that before. It's kind of an idea of what it was like in Camp David. And that's kind of like the Oval Office. It is the Oval Office in Camp David. And I would assume that that is probably original furniture from the time. But you can't get anywhere near it. There's a Doug cookie bowl there. It's kind of cute. And the only modern president to not have a dog or a cat or anything like that is Trump. Yes, okay. This is the Berlin Wall. Well, I think he was Mr. Gorbachev. Tear down this wall. I think that was Bush. I'm pretty sure it was. But the thing is, you can supposedly see, yeah, this is one of the biggest sections I've seen outside of Berlin. of the Berlin Wall. It just says the duality. This section of the Berlin Wall is just the nature of its duality. The eastern-facing Soviet side is void of any markings, a symbol of oppressive control. The western-facing German side is covered with graffiti, offering messages of hope and protest. If we go around this side, there's nothing. Look at the other side. That's crazy. More gifts. Armenian, U.S. flags. More gifts. From Czechoslovakia. That's like a pirate weapon right there. It is. A holster pistol donated president of the Republic of Albania. I've been to Albania. If anyone ever tells you Albania is dangerous, they can go fuck themselves. Because I was perfectly fine in Albania. The KFCs in Albania, literally, are open 24 hours a day and you can go inside. Give me a KFC in America, you can do that in. Albania ain't dangerous. Ooh. Alright, this is cool. I think we're about to walk into the equivalent of the decision room that was in his son's museum. That's what kind of inspired the decision room. So this is supposed to be the cabinet room, I assume. What we'll do, we got a speaker here. Next briefing starts in 2 minutes and 17 seconds. We have to figure out where the sound is coming from. And we'll be able to work through here. Press the advance.
A line has been drawn in the sand. The United States has taken a firm position.
Indeed it has, and the shape of the post-Cold War world is likely to depend on its outcome, not to mention the fortunes of the Bush presidency.
Okay, so this is going to get started in 1 minute and 41 seconds. And this is probably, if you saw, I spent a good hour in a room much more technically advanced looking than this. Much more technically advanced looking, I'm saying. Not technically advanced yet in the other Bush Museum, because you were able to make decisions. I believe that this right here is designed to be the cabinet room of somewhere. Oh crap. Oh, I thought the computer just broke. We've got 1 minute and 8 seconds. We'll see where the sound is coming from. I'll get some mics on wherever the sound is coming from so you can hear what's going on and see what's going on these screens, but you get to kind of act like the president, I guess, in 56 seconds. Yeah, like I said, if you haven't seen the one, probably half of my video in his son's museum in George H.W. is this experience looking like thing. Much more modern version of it, but it looks like I can do everything. So we're going to get a National Security Council briefing in 38 seconds. Very head of the CIA nature to do this. That's a National Security Council, CIA, FBI, everyone like that. I think it's going to be led now by Tulsi Gabbard. I like her. I thought she would make a good vice president, eventually president. But the other side says she's a Russian asset, so, you know. 13 seconds. 12, 11, 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Not many realize it in August, but when Saddam Hussein invades Kuwait and threatens Saudi Arabia, the sand has begun to fall through a fateful hourglass. If he is to be stopped, there will only be so much time in which to do it. The president will have to gather a coalition of nations. His generals will have to ready a giant army. An all-out attack will have to be launched by the end of January, before the fierce sandstorms of the Middle Eastern spring. World leaders hope to avoid a war. The UN Security Council imposes an embargo and waits. All hope it will make Saddam retreat. U.S. defensive forces are invited into Saudi Arabia. Land slips down through the glass. By the end of September, Saddam's army in Kuwait numbers over 400,000. He gives no sign of retreat. October, the coalition has come together. There are now 200,000 Allied troops in Saudi Arabia. Saddam digs in behind a wall of tanks along the Saudi border. He lays thousands of mines. On October 30th, the president adds muscle to the option of offense. The buildup goes into high gear. It is the most lethal array of military might ever assembled. But time and the sand are running out. November 29th, the UN Security Council passes an ultimatum. Saddam must leave Kuwait by January 15th. If he refuses, all necessary means must be used to restore peace and security to Kuwait. January 15th arrives. The dictator lets the deadline pass. He does not move. The hourglass is empty. Desert Storm is about to begin.
All right. Well, that wasn't great. I was expecting a lot more. I was expecting interactivity, but this museum predates his son's by 10 years or so. So, yeah, I was expecting more. Sorry. Not cool. All right, Gulf War exhibit. I didn't know that both Bushes went after Saddam. Ooh, tanks. Or half a tank. Patriot missiles.
Iraqi troops with 850 tanks and poured into Kuwait and moved south to threaten Saudi Arabia.
So this is George Bush Sr.'s Gulf War.
To the 82nd Airborne Division, as well as key units of the United States Air
actual
Force,
sandbags.
are arriving today to take up defensive positions in Saudi Arabia.
It's kind of interesting when you come to these things, you kind of want to come late in the afternoon, because no one comes late in the afternoon. Yeah, you're running against a time clock, but it's completely empty. I have the entire museum to myself. No screaming kids or anything like that. Which is like, je ne sais quoi. What is that? Oh, that's fucking cool. This is the Gate of Kuwait. It's like a life-size. You can watch probably the most significant gifts presented to the President Bush by the people of Kuwait was the Gate of Kuwait, made of teak, shrouded, studded with domed nails, elaborately carved. Such doors were once the primary access to the walled homes of Kuwait's leading citizens. Over 100 years old, this door is framed with plates bearing the names of American servicemen and women who were killed in the Gulf War. Wow. When a man gives you the key to his home, it means you're the best and most valuable friend to him. When a man gives you the door to his home, it means you're one of his family. That's cool. That's cool. That's probably the coolest thing here, by far, that I've seen so far. I actually think that's probably cooler than the Beast. Much cooler than the Beast. That's a vase filled with oil and sand given to him from Kuwait. That door is the coolest thing I've seen here. Yeah. The Gate of Kuwait. Okay. All right. Tough campaign. Oh, Perot.
A third-party candidate who siphoned off 19% of the vote, and a highly
Ross
charismatic
Perot.
opponent like Bill Clinton.
He's got a museum I went to yesterday.
To President Bush's campaign. In retrospect, President Bush has said that compared to Clinton, he was probably about a quart short on charisma. In the end, the election was probably decided more on perceptions than anything else.
I want to bring that change to the American people, but we must all decide first we have the courage to change for hope and a better tomorrow.
The perception of a sluggish economy.
Out of work, everybody has to care about it. But I think this is encouraging news, and certainly goes against the political grain.
The perception
That's cool. He did a campaign on a train.
And the perception that President Bush was out of touch.
Yeah, that was Clinton Gore took over there. And that is the George Bush military vessel. Commission ceremony, 2009, the USS George H.W. I'm so confused between these two Bushes. I'm sorry. And that is the long telescope at the commissioning. Commemorative coins. Looks like there's this thing called Space Force missing from there. So I'm gonna say. And then in his retirement, he had a boat called Fidelity. Millions of Americans enjoy recreational boating. The Bushes are no different. 28-foot cigarette boat in 1973. Oh, with proceeds from his stock sale in the Fidelity Printing Company of Houston, Texas. Okay, that's fine. And there's Bush's boat. Kind of cool. Now, you know what we haven't seen yet? It might just be time. By time, I mean in progression. We have not yet seen the graves, which are somewhere here. Orders of Merit. Numerous awards, honors from organizations and nations around the world. That's a cool setup. Germany, Poland, Russian, the Arab Federation, sorry, not the Russian. Gerald L. Ford Medal for Public Service. Order of Friendship, Bahrain. Order of Sandberg, First Class. Albania, again. Albania really loved George Bush. I've seen a bunch of Albania things. And is this a burrito? It is a burrito. It looks like a burrito. And that's an original. It's not some of that Park West shit. Yeah. That's original. It's original artwork created for burrito. Jeb and Columbia Bush, that's it. Oh, support literacy. Yeah, that's a real. Wow. Usually just see garbage burrito, not original burrito. Sorry, but it's true. Let's see, there's got to be more here. I know they are buried on site. Yeah. And there's a dog here. Long path with nothing in it. Sully. Sully the dog. Sully H.W. Bush. Does the dog actually have a bronze statue? Damn. It's an impressive dog statue. President Bush's service dog. Oh. So this is not when they were in office. President Bush's service dog during the last months of his life. Following his wishes, Sully continues to work. Interesting. So American vet dogs. Statue of a dog that's still is very much alive. Kind of strange. You don't usually see statues of alive people. Usually there's a dog. Wow. Vest and bowl. Challenge coin and aviator pin. Oh, this is from his funeral. Condolence book with Angela Merkel. I guess we didn't see this at the other museum because Heather Bush is still alive. Michelle Obama. I assume maybe the graves are outside of the ticketed complex. Is my my thoughts. I could be wrong. Is the gravesite outside of the ticketed complex? It's out right out there or something? Okay, thank you. So yeah, the gravesite is outside of the ticketed complex. So we gotta go check some other stuff before we check that portrait of President. Hey, look! It's like we went to those two museums back to back. Because we did. That's why it's like we went, ooh, what is there to do in this area? Okay. I don't think we're anywhere near San Antonio. What is there to do in Galveston? Ennis, Brazos Valley. Hey, if you're from around here, if you're not from around here, this might give us something to do tonight, you know. Eggleland, Round Rock. We're not going to San Antonio. We're not going to San Antonio. What is this? Ooh. Drive-through animal park. I don't know where that is. So, again, 4141. That's the Bush train. And it looks like we've gone through this in about 50 minutes, 50 minutes. The museum store's not closed yet. I gotta get some coins. The challenge coins. That's what you get to all these museums. Get them as gifts for people. And the George W. Bush Presidential Center. Each of the Grand Canyon photo. Yeah. I don't know about that one. Locker room. Legacy of service. The American flag. All right. You gotta always exit through the gift shop. Exit through the gift shop, yeah. All right. Let me get some coins real quick, and then we'll go out and we shall see the grave. Just see it. So that's outside. I think the grave, since they're president graves, they can't really charge admission for it. So I believe it's outside. But let me see if I get the challenge coins, which I'll show you them as soon as I get back. All right. So I got my coins, and I also got my Dr. Pepper. I gotta say the newer, younger Sun Museum was much better because it's also much newer. But I do believe down here there's something that the Sun Museum didn't have, which are the actual graves of the two Bushes. Now, the Sun Museum, unless there's some major medical breakthrough, will have those eventually. I showed in the 360 video where they will be putting them. But I think there's a giant pond and pool in the back where they reflect, and this is where they're actually buried. They're out here, so you don't have to actually pay for admission to go see them. Let's see. No, that's just a statue. Looks like just a statue. There's a handicap path to go down. I think they built an entire lake just for this in the back. So they had that in the one that was in Dallas, and the Bush one in Dallas. They had a Texas rose garden. That was a recreation of the rose garden, which they're going to be buried in. But here, a little different, with a lake or something. Let's see. I'll show you. I'm looking at this for the first time too. They tell me go out, turn around the corner. outside the museum right now, so yes, if you did just want to go again visit this without museum admission, you should be able to. This is Barbara Bush's Rose Garden and the Bush family gravesite. Accessible route. We don't really need that. We can do a couple stairs down. And it's on the Texas A&M University campus, so there's always campus emergency call sites and stuff like that. Not very green, because we just got a massive freeze here in Texas. When I was on my first of the two cruises, between the two cruises, it was snowing in pretty much all of Texas. Pond is catch and release only. I don't know why you want to do other than that. I'm looking to see where the actual gravesite is. It's a long walk from the museum. But we shall keep walking, and I shall keep recording. I think there's a little bridge. Takes us over the river and through the woods to the Bush's grave we go. The horse knows the way to carry the wow. Thus lay through the white and frosty snow. Looks like they actually restrict access at night, and that's why coming all the way out here, and there's a bridge with a gate on it. I'm guessing this. Said there was this the handicap path. All I see is pond is catch and release only. Please use barbless hooks. I can't believe anybody would actually fish in there. But to each their own. To each their own. Oh my. So a walk. Almost lost my Dr. Pepper. Keyword is almost. Alright. It's a very long mountain, 7-minute walk. The gravesite is open during museum hours. The good thing is we have 5 more minutes left in museum hours. So, let us go see the gravesite, which is kind of in the middle of a swamp. If I do say so myself. The gravesite in the middle of a swamp. Just put in the damn Everglades. Even if I remember Reagan and Ford, their gravesites did not require museum admission either. Oh my God. It keeps going and going. George Bush wanted to make sure you had to walk back here. Trying to see some roses. Ish. At least some color. How many miles am I going to have to walk? Are they going to lock me in here tonight? I hope not. Hope. It just doesn't. Oh, there we go. Finally. Damn. That's a big gravesite. Here we go. Here it is. The gravesite in the Rose Garden. Let's see who's here. I think it's the 2 Bushes and a daughter that died at a very young age. Is back here at the site. I see 3 graves. I remember things I was told yesterday. Yep. George Bush, 2018. Barbara died right after. Herbert Bush, Pauline Bush. And there you have it. The end of the Bush Presidential Library. Once it's in the graves, there's not much more to see. This is Richard from No Pants Profits, reminding you, at the end, everyone goes in the ground. And when you wear no pants, the only thing you got left to lose is your shirt. I like this library. Not as good as his son's. Go see that one first in Dallas. This is in the middle of nowhere, but I'm transiting through anyway. And yeah, probably it's worth the stop if you're a history buff. I enjoy the son's much better because I lived more during his son's presidency. Have a great one. Bye.